Tonight, in honor of the season, instead of the foolishness files, let's call this the ghoulishness files. I'm calling out all people for behaving badly on Halloween, starting with these clowns. It's bad enough stealing all the candy when a bowl is left on the front porch. But one of these guys then decides to smash the bowl by throwing it against the front door of a home in Bellaire. Oh, and then there's these idiots in Conroe. They took not one, but 2 bowls full of candy. All the suspects look like teenagers. Surprise! But what is this guy's excuse? He's got a toddler with him. Ah, but the homeowner has a little something for him. That's just great. Punching a Halloween decoration. Really? After grabbing his toddler and running away, someone in the group comes back later for the bucket of candy. About an hour later, someone then stole the empty bowl. Come on, people. Halloween is for giving, not taking. Say it with me. This is some straight up ghoulishness.